Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible systems that are, holding our entire world together? Today, we're diving deep into the cybersecurity of those exact systems. The power grids, the water systems, the financial networks that we all just expect to work. We're going to break down the threats they face and, more importantly, what it takes to protect them. All right, let's get into it.
I mean, really think about it. It's a huge question, right? So much of our daily life just hums along because of this incredibly complex, almost invisible web of technology that's always on, always working in the background. But that total dependency, well, that creates a pretty serious vulnerability.
Exactly. Because when these systems get targeted, we're not just talking about a computer glitch or your Wi-Fi going down. The consequences can be physical, they can be widespread, and they can be immediate. The stakes, they really couldn't be any higher.
So to start, let's get a handle on what exactly we're trying to protect here. This first part is all about defining the problem that sits right at the very core of our digital world.
So what is critical infrastructure, really? Well, that's the official definition. But think of it like this. It's all the stuff that's so important that if it failed, everything else would start to crumble. We're talking about the energy grid that powers our homes, the plants that make our water drinkable, and the financial networks that handle literally every dollar we spend. It's the foundation of modern life, and most of the time, we don't even see it.
Okay, so this is absolutely key. How did these systems become so exposed in the first place? Well, it used to be that the industrial controls, that's the operational technology, or OT, were totally separate from the office networks, the IT. It was called an air gap. They were physically disconnected. But in the name of efficiency and getting real-time data, those two worlds have now merged. Sensitive industrial machines are now connected to the internet, and that has created this massive new playground for attackers.
Now that we've set the stage, let's talk about the first major player in this game. And I want to be clear, this is not about some random person hacking from their basement. This is strategic, high-stakes digital warfare waged by nations.
This slide really lays out the two sides of the coin perfectly. On one side, you have your state-sponsored groups. They are playing the long game. They're motivated by geopolitics, they have huge resources, and their number one priority is stealth. On the other side, you've got this whole mix of non-state actors. Their motives are all over the place. Money, ideology, you name it. They might not be as stealthy, but they operate in huge numbers, using disruptive tactics like ransomware or DDoS attacks that just hammer a system until it breaks.
State actors are the absolute masters of what's called an advanced persistent threat, or APT. The words you really want to focus on here are persistent and undetected. Their goal isn't some quick smash and grab. No, their goal is to get inside a network and just stay there. For months, sometimes even years, just quietly learning everything, mapping it all out, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
So how do they do it? This cyber kill chain model really helps break down just how methodical these attacks are. It's like a military operation. It all starts with reconnaissance. They map the target. Then they build custom malware just for that target. Then they find a way in, establish a secret backdoor so they can come and go, and only then, finally, do they actually do what they came to do, whether it's stealing data or causing real-world chaos.
And what are those goals exactly? Well, they can range from outright sabotage. Think of the famous Stuxnet worm that physically wrecked nuclear centrifuges just by messing with their software, to espionage and destabilization. But honestly, one of the most chilling goals is just preparation. It's about getting inside an opponent's critical infrastructure and planting digital time bombs, just sitting there, waiting to be set off in a future conflict.
All right, let's shift gears and look at the other side of the threat landscape. This group is way less about geopolitical chess and a lot more about a chaotic mix of making money and making a statement.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the breakdown on this chart. We hear a lot in the news about terrorists or hacktivists, right? But look at this. The vast majority of these non-state threats, more than half, are just plain old cybercriminals. Their motivation is simple and it's powerful. It's money.
And see, each of these groups uses a totally different playbook. Cybercriminals love ransomware to extort cash. Hacktivists will disrupt a service to get their political message out. Terrorists want to cause fear and physical damage. And then you've got insiders, disgruntled employees maybe, or contractors who already have the keys to the castle. That makes them an incredibly dangerous and unique threat.
Okay, so we've laid out these complex, multifaceted threats. How in the world do you defend against all that? Well, you can't just build one wall and call it a day. The solution is to build a digital fortress with multiple overlapping layers of protection. The whole philosophy is called defense in depth, and the core idea is actually pretty simple. No single defense is perfect, so you build in layers. If an attacker manages to get past your outer wall, they run smack into another one, and then another one after that. It's all about building resilience, not just banking on one single point of prevention. So, the first layers of this fortress are kind of like the outer walls and the gatekeepers. It is all about controlling the network and who gets in. This means building internal walls to separate important systems from everything else. It means only giving people the keys to the rooms they absolutely need to be in. And of course, using things like multi-factor authentication to make sure a stolen password isn't enough to get through the front door.
As we move deeper into the fortress, the focus shifts to protecting the systems themselves. This is about constantly patching up any weaknesses in the walls, posting guards with advanced tools on every single device to watch for threats, and using specialized firewalls that are purpose-built to protect the unique and sensitive machinery you find in these industrial or OT environments.
And you knew it was coming. Artificial intelligence is playing a bigger and bigger role here. But AI isn't replacing the human defenders, it's augmenting them. Think of it as a superpowered assistant. It can sift through billions of pieces of data in real time to spot a tiny little anomaly that a human would totally miss. And that frees up the human analysts to focus on the big picture and the most critical threats.
But here's the thing, even the most incredible futuristic technology isn't enough on its own. To be truly resilient, we have to look beyond the code and the hardware. We have to look at the policies that govern us and, crucially, the people who actually run these systems.
A really, truly strong defense has to stand on these three pillars. You need clear policies from the government that set the standards. You need strong governance inside companies, where security is a priority all the way up to the board of directors. And maybe most important of all, you need to invest in people, through constant training and building a culture where security is just part of everyone's job.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? You can have the best, most expensive technology in the world, but all of it can be completely defeated by one single person making one mistake, or worse, acting maliciously. The human element is, and it probably always will be, the most critical piece of the puzzle.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. As everything in our world gets more and more connected, maybe we have to accept that breaches are just inevitable. So, does the future of security lie in trying to prevent every single attack, which might be impossible? Or is it about building systems that are so resilient they can take a punch, recover quickly, and just keep our world running? It's a really crucial question we all have to think about for our digital future.